Hey, I wanted to make a video in which I work on knee releasing and knee stretching all the muscles in this area and knee strengthening. So that's what we're doing today. I want to start with some myofascial release, and I like to do that with a foam roller, and yours might be half the size of mine. It might be this full size. But it's useful to have a foam roller if you don't have one. So you can, if you don't have one, you can just kind of watch what I'm doing here. So I'm going to start with doing my quadriceps for both of them. So I'm kind of going to put this down. I'll show it to you from a couple of different directions. But I'm going to sort of lift up, and I'm putting my legs down on the roller, and then I'm just going to roll back and forth. So I'm rolling my quadriceps, and I can roll all the way up to my hips because rectus femoris, part of my quadricep, goes into my hip, and then roll all the way back to like my patella, to my top of my knee. All right, show it to you from a different angle. So I lift up, I'm here, and I can roll and getting that whole nice quad, and I can sort of feature, I can stay and linger any place where I feel a lot of sensation. I can spend a little bit more time there, and I can also do a little bit of shearing by moving my legs in that location. All right, for my quadriceps. Now, the hamstring muscles go all the way from the bottom of my glute to below my knee. So particularly if I have any back of knee kind of sensation, I might like to roll my hamstrings, so all the way from the top of them all the way down to the bottom of them, so I can roll my hamstrings. Great. And then next, I like to feature the muscles a little bit more strongly right around my knee. So I want to take it on the side, and I'll just do my right knee, which is my more serious knee. But you would do the knee you feature or both. So I'm just kind of putting some pressure on the knee, and again, I can sort of move my leg, and that adds like a little bit of shearing action to it. The notion is that I'm inviting fluids to come into this sensitive area. And then I'm going to kind of flip around and get the other side of it, kind of similarly. So I just want to kind of massage around at anything that is tender. And I like to do that as a prelude to any exercises that I may get involved with. We can do it before and we can do it after. So all this kind of work is telling the connective tissue here that I want fluids to come into this area and hydrate this area, which is a good thing, right? All right. Motion is lotion. Motion is lotion in part because this is a synovial joint and there's fluids inside that joint. So when I move the joint, the fluids slush in. Also a good thing. So let's get into some motion. The first thing I'm going to do is just bridge. So I'm going to be on my back and my feet are underneath my knees. I can touch my Achilles with my fingertips to tickle myself. And I'm going to float on up and float on down. So my legs are working, my glutes working, my core's working, but I'm beginning to get some action in those knee joints in this bridge work. So up and down. Anywhere in the 8 to 12 repetition range, which is kind of around doing the action for about 30 seconds. I'll take one more here. And I want to come up to standing, and I do like to kind of just curl in and roll up, but you can come up to standing however it serves you to do so. And then let's come all the way up And the first thing I want to do is sort of do some knee manipulation that's without weight, right? So what I'm going to do is lift my knee in the air and lift it in the air. So this is like a high knee lift, and I'm trying to lift that knee as high as I can. This action is actually a terrific core exercise, but I'm doing it today thinking about my knees. So I just want to, same thing, spend about 30 seconds just kind of lifting my knees and lowering them. One more set. All right, beautiful. So I'm going to stand about hip width apart. And I want to stand nice and tall. So I always like to lengthen my tailbone. That automatically lifts my core up towards my heart. My chest is elevated. My shoulders are relaxed, but my head is floating upwards. So nice tall stance, about hip width apart. And let us now get into some squatting. So using all this upper body strength, I want to, in a sense, feel like I'm lifting my whole upper body up and out of my hips. So I'm sort of light above my hips, right? And then I'm going to sink into a squat, showing it to you from the front first. And I can go as I can just go a little bit. I can go further down, kind of judge it by how I feel. Show it to you from the side so you can see that this squat is a hip hinge. So my hips are going back, which is what is bending my knees. I'm going to turn back to front. So, again, let's just start off with a warm-up amount of these knee bends. As I say, motion is lotion. As I'm moving, my body is actively hydrating these tissues. So we feel better when we move. We feel stiff when we don't move. A couple more. All right, coming on up. So there's all kinds of things we can do, and I'm just kind of doing a selected amount now. We could sort of do a 90-minute knee program, and we're going to do like a half an hour knee program, something like that. I haven't decided how much time we're spending. All right, good. So I'm going to run out of space here, but I want to show you next a pendulum lunge. So what I want to do, again, I'm nice and tall, and I'm going to lift up my knee, and I'm going to step forward, and I'm going to forward lunge here, and then think about it before you do it. Using my core support, I'm going to come back up, and I'm going to step back behind me. So that just went off screen, so I'll fix that problem. And lift up again, and then go again, right? So I'll move a little bit forward so you can sort of be sure you see the back one. So I lift up and step back, and I lift up my knee, and I step forward, all the way off screen. But you get the idea. It's a pendulum lunge. I'll do it to you. I'll do it going forward so we can do a bunch for accounting purposes. Okay, great. So, standing up nice and tall. I'm going to stay on the leg I was on. So lifting my knee, I forward lunge, and I lift my knee, and I step back behind me. Now, if it gets hard to lift my knee, I can just kind of swing through. So kind of the beginner version would be, I would just sort of swing through like that. And as I get stronger, I can do the lifting up as I get stronger. A couple more times on this leg. This is called a pendulum lunge because it's like you're swinging like a pendulum. So I'll start this way, trying to split the difference. Nice and tall, right? So stepping now, I'm going to step my right leg now. So stepping forward and lifting and stepping back. And just notice what you have to do to be able to do that balance. Use your breath. And notice too how my weight stays centered here, right? I'll show you what some people do, which would be incorrect, which is when they go back, they kind of slide back. And I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to do that. Good. Beautiful. And then I'll turn front. Just a couple more details. So in this case, my left leg is my standing leg, right? So when I step forward, my left heel does come up for this forward lunge, but as soon as I come up, my foot goes down, and it's going to stay completely down when I do my step backwards, right? I've had people end up kind of moving this foot or not remembering to put the heel down, kind of leaving the heel stuck up when they go to step back. Oops. Look at me. When they go to step back into that backward step, right? And that was a good demonstration of what happens if you get distracted and your balance goes off, because I was thinking about what I was saying. All right. Stepping front, pendulum lunge. Gorgeous, gorgeous movement. All right. It is nice to do some seated leg extensions. And so I am going to grab a chair that I have handy. So you can grab any kind of straight back chair that you might have. Something not too flouncy, right? And I'm going to sit forward just a hair. So what I want to do now is I want to straighten my leg and put it down, and straighten my leg and put it down. We will take the side view. Straighten. So I'm really actively firing these quadricep muscles. I usually do it with a flexed foot, but doesn't matter that much. Let me try pointed foot. You can do pointed foot, whatever you feel inspired to do. My hands are on my quadriceps. I can feel them working. Sitting up nice and tall. Couple more. Beautiful. Now from the yoga world, I actually like the whole standing series, the whole warrior series. But I will show today just side angle as a nice activation of the knees. So you'll see it. So I'm going to start facing the front of my mat and inhale here. Then I'm going to exhale and I'm going to step my right leg back, 45-degree angle. My front foot is facing front. And I can inhale my arms up, and my hips are just sitting where they are comfortable. And I can open my shoulders, so I want to really open my shoulders and rib cage to the front of the room, but that doesn't involve turning my hips, right? And then I'm going to inhale my arms up, and then I'm going to exhale, and I'm coming over, reaching down. This elbow is resting on this knee, and this arm is reaching up. And I'm going to breathe here. So a different way to activate the knee. This leg is straight, this knee is bent, the knee is stacked over the ankle. And just breathe here. Just to show you an alternate for the arm could also come here. As long as my shoulder stays down, I don't want my shoulder to come up. Inhale and come up, and I'm just going to turn my feet so I'm ready for side two. So again, my hips are relaxed where they want to be, knee stacked over ankle. My torso is turned to the side of the room. Inhale my arms up, and exhale and come over into side angle on this side, and breathe. Inhale and come up, and I'm going to take it back to the beginning for one more addition here. So I'm really bending this knee, stacked over this ankle, inhaling here. I'm going to exhale. This time when I come over, I'm going to slide this whole arm down my leg and kind of just rest on my foot. This arm can come over or be here, wherever you're more comfortable. And just one more time, we'll have a few breaths right here. Inhale to come up. Let's switch our feet. Knee stacked over my ankle. Exhale, come over. This arm slides down and I'm here. I'll slide back so I'm a little more on screen, and I'm breathing. Inhale to come up, and then just heel toe in. Beautiful. Now I would like to explore sort of one more strengthening move, coming down on the ground. And I've got two ways of doing this. Let me show you, sort of four things, but the first two, I'm going to be on my hands, my toes are tucked, and this is working on a reverse Nordic, and these are just two beginner moves. We're not going to do the full move. So I'm just going to slide back, and I can feel a stretch right here, and then come back up. So I'm just kind of coming back and up. Notice what you notice how it feels. So I'm kind of doing 6-ish here. And then more advanced would be to untuck my toes, and then I've got further to go, right? Come further. Oh, I can feel that was further to go. Rock up. We're moving towards our stretching session, which is going to come next. Great, and coming up. So now I'm going to tuck my toes. I've got one more with this Nordic. So now I'm lifted here, right? Super lifted here. And then I'm going to just sit back, see how it feels, and pull myself up. One more here. Same thing, untuck. I'm going to have further to go. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to pull myself up. Feel that action. I got one more. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So let's come to standing, and we're going to go through the series of how do I stretch my quads, all right? So I can balance, I can lean on something like my foam roller or put my hand on a wall. So what I want to do is stand on one foot. I'm aiming to stretch my left quadricep. I'm just going to bring my foot up. Bring my foot up and draw my knee down. So there's where I want to be. So I can balance. I can put my hand on a wall. Whatever I need to do to stay for about 30 seconds. We'll stay a little bit less long because I've got something else coming up. My left leg has a little bit of a tendon issue, so I need a little bit more support on this side for myself. So standing on my left leg, bending my right, point that knee down, strong quadricep stretch here, breathing. All right, so that was quadricep stretch number 1. I also really enjoy coming down into a low lunge. I'm going to start with my left leg again. So I'm in a low lunge, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that foot up, and I'm either going to grab it with this arm, I'm going to grab it with this arm, or if I cannot reach, I can get a strap, and the strap can help me if I need that. And here we go. Good quadricep stretch here. Let's breathe into this. Beautiful. When we go to the next side, I'm going to show you another variation is on my way to mermaid pose, so I can take myself into pigeon, and then I can add this quadricep stretch inside of there. And at this angle, this is a more intense stretch at this angle. All right, and then the last variation is to use a wall. And so, let me see if I can do this. I think I'm going to need to move the camera in order to show you this variation. So I'll take you close to me, so hopefully it's not so dizzy making for me to move you. So here we are with a wall. So this last variation, I'm going to put my leg up a wall like that, and I can do it like this, whatever works. So the last variation is to do it up a wall. And you can set a timer, you can just kind of feel something in the 20 to 30 second range. And then get ready for side 2. Slide it in there. Right, beautiful. So I'm feeling pretty good in the knee, and you can see I've got some knee issues, but they're not dreadful because I can kneel on my knees. But we can just finish with a little more MFR.